right, joined by David Brandon, writing for Daily Thunder, covering the OKC Thunder here at the Alley-Oop. David, thank you so much for hopping on, man. Really appreciate you taking the time. Let's chat about one of the best stories in the NBA so far. The team that is third in the NBA net rating, according to Cleaning the Glass, the OKC Thunder. Where do we even start on this team? This team has been unbelievable in how they have sort of had this renaissance. It's gone a lot faster than I think a lot of people expected in terms of the rebuild. The team has thoroughly outperformed expectations so far because of what?
I think the biggest thing this year is the emergence of Chet Holmgren. Holmgren has been awesome this year. Like, he's been playing at what I would call an all-NBA level as a rookie, which is, I mean, like, I haven't looked in a minute, but he was having a 50-40-90 season, and is putting up, I think, like over a block and a steal per game. I know he's putting up over a block per game. I think he might be putting up 2. I don't have those stats off the top of my head, but
I've got the numbers here. I've got the numbers here for you. 17 points, 7.8 rebounds, 2.5 assists, 2.4 blocks. He's off pace on the steals at 0.9, but he's very close there. 52 from the field, 38 from 3, 88 from the line. That's nuts. That's frankly ridiculous, and people should be afraid.
Yeah. Like, I expected him to be good. I don't think anyone expected him to be this good this fast. The rebounding's still an issue team-wide, but it hasn't been enough of an issue to pull them off pace so far. It's like, despite them getting absolutely brutalized on the glass in a lot of games, they're still killing it in so many other areas that it hasn't been an issue. And Holmgren's a big part of that, because having him on the back line lets the guys be loose and comfortable on defense. Shai's playing the best defense of his career. I would argue that Shai's playing like all defense, team level defense right now. He's been incredibly good on that. And Dort is obviously going to give you what he's going to give you on that end. J-Dub is a great defender. Like, it starts with the defense. And on the offensive side, it starts with Shai, and then everybody else on the floor just being more efficient. Dort has been good this year, but not. He's kind of fallen off a little bit. He had a real hot start. I think some guys are going to come down to earth, and some guys are going to pop. But generally speaking, it's Shai has been even better, and Holmgren has shored up the defense to a point where they don't have to worry about that end.
Yeah, just going through some of the numbers here is pretty nuts to think about. The team's on Cleaning the Glass, 6th on offense, 6th on defense. They are, like I said, 3rd in the NBA net rating at plus 8.3, which would lead the NBA in some years. Like, I think it would have led it last year, if I'm not mistaken. You mentioned the numbers for Shai. Some crazy stuff here. 2.8 steals per game. It's been a long time since we've ever really seen that before. And that's steals aren't everything, but he's also averaging 0.9 blocks, and the team is 6th in defense, and they're really feeding off of that perimeter contain. So he's been unbelievable, and shooting 55% from the field is disgusting as a perimeter player with where he takes his shots. That's flat out ridiculous. He has, and I just did a show, I think a week ago or so, with Matt Moore on MVP candidates. Jokic was leading at that point, but he has fallen down in a lot of ways. And I think you could absolutely make an argument that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has been the MVP of the league.
He's definitely, MVP conversation, you know as well as I do with the award conversations, that a lot of that comes down to legacy too, or voter fatigue in some cases will let guys get in that wouldn't get another look in. There's different factors that go into that. But I would say Shai should be in people's top 5s this year. I'm not going to say where he should be. I think he should be I would say top 3 if he continues on this pace all year and the Thunder perform well. You could make an argument for MVP, but yeah, it's been, there's at least 5 or 6 moments, I think, every game where I'm watching and he does something and I'm I just shake my head. I'm I don't know how he did that. I don't know how that's possible. And I remember that's the feeling I got watching Kevin Durant. That's the feeling I got watching Russell Westbrook. And being able to see that again, it's special. We're fortunate as fans.
Yeah, being able to go from the Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook era to, hey, you have a little bit of a downturn, but you still get to watch this amazing dynamo of a creator on the offensive end. I mean, the balance that he has and the touch that he has is like it is reaching insano levels. So he deserves to be in everybody's top three. So you've got a top three like NBA player so far this year. You have a top 15 guy if you're doing the all NBA caliber thing with Chet. Like he's been unbelievable, especially as a stretch five. It's just very rare to see him. And you see a guy like that average more than 2 blocks per game. Like that is a unicorn.
Yeah.
And then you also have a team that is leading the NBA right now in 3-point percentage at 39.1%. They are, I think, leading the NBA the last time I checked at free throw percentage, which that certainly helps too. This team is an elite shooting team, and it's funny to think about them that way after so many years of, the missing piece was shooting.
Yep.
Like, so what is the change been? Where does that come from?
Honestly, I think it'll come back down to earth a little bit. Some of that's fueled by Dort had an incredibly hot start to the year. I do think that's already starting to fall back down to earth a little. Isaiah Joe is great. Isaiah Joe's getting minutes.
Yeah.
There's several guys on the team that are just shooting really well from three. Chet taking more threes helps. There's been a shift from personnel who aren't great shooters to personnel who are better shooters. Getting more minutes, I think, is part of it. And then the guys that you want taking the threes are taking the threes. And then you also have, there's decreased offensive responsibility, which is why I think Dort had a good start. Because he's not being forced into a bigger role than he should have. There's guys probably improving in the off season. I bet you can chalk at least some of this up to improvement from working with Chip Engelland and some of the shooting coaches. But yeah, I expect it to fall down a little bit. I'm gun shy. I've just spent so many years watching this team brick that I won't be convinced of it till I see it for a season. But I'm enjoying the ride.
Yeah, and that's part of the process is, hey, you go through hot shooting starts, you go through hot shooting spells, and then the other coin is probably going to drop at some point. But we've talked about OKC as a team that has immense young talent, and they've tried to build out their perimeter as much as possible. And you've got a stretch five, and you've got all these different elements. And if Shai is going to keep creating awesome shots, Josh Giddey, who I don't really feel like talking about that situation at all personally, but he's going to keep creating good shots for other people too. And J-Dub continues to level up as well. There's just a lot of reasons to be excited about the trajectory of this team and where they're continuing to go. Who are some other guys on the team that we haven't mentioned really so far that everybody needs to be knowing about if they're checking in with the
Kenrich Williams? He's a huge X factor for them. His stat line doesn't pop or anything like that, but they're a better team when he's on the floor. Last I checked, he and Chet were among the better pairings on the team in terms of front lines. If you were playing Kenrich at the 4 and Chet at the 5. He's just a guy who does a lot of little stuff. He's a hustle dude. The rebounding's better when he's out there. He makes things happen. That's a guy. I think every team should want a Kenrich Williams on their team. He's one. Isaiah Joe, we already mentioned. Outside of the main guys, Cason Wallace has been incredible. He's not being asked to do a ton, but what he's doing, he's done really, really well. He's been part of the hot shooting start of Cason Wallace just going absolutely out of his mind from 3.
I'm looking at the numbers right here. He's 59% from the field as a point guard and 52% from 3. What are we even talking about here? That's
he's
bonkers.
He looks like he's probably the heir apparent to Dort in terms of position and defense. He plays great defense. He was tasked with Curry some. I've seen him guard Curry a bit. I think I've seen him guard Clay. There's a few he's asked to guard tough covers, and he's been doing well, and he's been absolutely shooting the leather off the ball on the other end. So he's a guy that I don't know how big his role is going to be. I don't know how much he can do. With Kentucky guards, it's like a surprise package. You open the box and you never know what you're going to get. You just know it's going to be good. So he's been really great. Backup point guard. There's been a little bit of a rotation of guys. It's not really. I don't know who exactly is settling in that spot long term. Mishik, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, said that his conditioning wasn't up to it when he started the year. Zach Lowe says they signed him just to trade. But yeah, backup point guard, I'm not really sure who winds up doing that. I think they could use to firm up that spot. But, I mean, they're playing some where J-Dub is doing backup point guard stuff and staggering rotations. It's just Giddey, some as backup point, like where they do not hockey subs, but kind of rotate through. But yeah, as far as like bench guys go, I think Wallace and Williams are the two that I would. The Kenrich, not other Jalen.
Sure. Yeah. There's Jalen and J-Dub and just everything under the sun with the OKC Thunder and the Williams crew. And yeah, we've got a lot of Williamses over here. Okay, so last couple questions here. I didn't expect Chet to be this good this fast. I don't think, like we talked about, I don't think anybody really expected it to be this good. Has the way that the season has started for OKC kind of shifted your expectations at all? I remember us talking and having, like, I was maybe a little bit more on the muted side of, hey, this team could be good, we'll see what happens. And you're still pretty excited about where they could go from here. They might have even surpassed that at this point. So I'm curious, like, has that shifted your expectations for this season?
It has. I think this team, presuming they play as they have been, it's a playoff lock. And I would be disappointed if they don't make it through the first round at least. Like, this team is good. I also, like, I said like 40 something. I think I might have said 45 wins. I think we'll get over that pretty comfortably. It's just one of those things. Part of it was like I thought the West would be better than it is. There's some teams that have just kind of dropped off. Golden State's, like, some of their guys that I thought would perform just haven't. There's been a few other teams that have just like not done what I thought they would do. Clippers have not been as good as I thought, and there's a few like that. Where I thought the West was going to beat up on each other a lot more and drive those numbers down. I think they get in the 50s. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. But I'm excited.
That's awesome. No, does that maybe change your opinions? Because I know OKC has been very patient when it comes to like the trade market and things like that. Does that change your opinion on how aggressive you'd want to be, given, hey, maybe the team is ready to win in the playoffs in this way? Like, does that change your impressions of how aggressive they might want to be?
I mean, I would be probably a little bit more aggressive at this point than Sam Presti, just given the rhetoric that he had about the team coming into the season. But, I mean, I don't know. It might be something where, like, his mind's changed by the way that they're playing. I mean, I would definitely... If you were going to do something, aside from any off-the-court stuff, Josh Giddey's been the weak link. Just if you look at lineup numbers and that sort of thing, like, he's got to pick up the pace, or I don't think they even pick up his option, maybe. He's...
Wow.
I don't know, the raw numbers aren't bad, but he's been, his units don't perform well. And that net rating would be higher with, I think, a lot of players in that spot right now. So if they wanted to shore up a spot, it would be that starting wing, and maybe you start sniffing around some of the guys that might be available. I saw a report, I know the Spurs have some guys that they might be trying to move. Toronto, who knows what they'll do? Probably nothing.
We'll see.
Yeah, but there's going to be a few guys on the market, and I do wonder if they might kind of kick the tires more than they would on somebody. Maybe you do kick the tires on like an OG Anunoby or somebody, just to see what's there. Maybe you do sniff around, I don't know, Indiana and see, hey, can we pry a guy or two loose? And maybe we can send you some people that can help your defense. Maybe you sniff around Chicago and you say, hey, like that Patrick Williams thing that was rumored a while ago, you still interested in that? Because you're going nowhere right now. Maybe that's something that happens. I would bet there are discussions taking place, but I don't know if anything will happen.
Well, we will see what happens. He is David Brandon covering the Thunder for Daily Thunder. Brandon, David, thank you so much for taking the time with me, man. Let's chat in 6 weeks, all right? Cool. Let me